Hello everyone, Taylor with Royal Gorge Anglers here, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service and only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the Arkansas River Basin. Celebrating year 33. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope the holidays were great, and we're now in late January and looking forward to the upcoming season, and boy is it coming quick. When we welcome the new year, we realize that the prime fly fishing season is not far away here on the Arkansas River Basin. We're still fly fishing hard on the Arkansas tailwater, and obviously, that being one of the most consistent winter fisheries in the state of Colorado is our kind of bread and butter, so to speak, in November, December, January, and February. But we need to realize that we're really only a month away from great nymph fishing on the Arkansas Freestone section from Canyon City through Salida in particular, and Bighorn Sheep Canyon and the Canyon City proper section, with heavy golden stonefly molt activity. Typically, we're seeing that begin in Canyon City around mid-February. So we're only really a few weeks away from starting to see that activity. And that acts as really, a major start to the season. That stonefly activity really gets the trout activity ramped up, and then as we move into the month of March, of course, we have our spring blue-winged olive activity that really ramps up towards the middle of March and continues to build through the month of April. Obviously, our caddis activity in April and May, the famed Brachycentrus occidentalis hatch on the Arkansas River Freestone, starting in Canyon City and moving upstream, starting around, the middle of April. And then kind of the runoff season and, moving into summer prime time in July and August, great terrestrial fishing, PMDs, red quills, drakes, all of those great mayflies in the summer prime time season, of course, our great streamer fishing, and then the great fall season after that. So we have so much to look forward to here in 2023. Just wanted to give you that quick snapshot at kind of how the season progresses, but remind you that we're not far away. We need to be preparing now for what's to come here next month. Some of my favorite days of kind of the early spring can be found in late February, depending on the weather. Great nymph fishing. Fish will react to streamers on a slow swing. We're catching fish throughout the winter in Canyon City with a variety of techniques. So if you find a good string, of warm days like we had this past week, 50s and 60s in Canyon City, that's something to take advantage of on the Freestone section, and specifically in Canyon City where it's just a bit warmer. Remember, we're here in the Banana Belt in Canyon City, and some sections of Bighorn Sheep Canyon just above Canyon City will be, great strong options for you on those warmer days in the winter. So don't think that the Arkansas Freestone is frozen solid. That, only really occurs in small sections. Ice flow occurs when we've got strings of, a string of cold weather days consecutively, and then can open up in a matter of days if we get some warmer weather. So just keep an eye on that. One thing that we do know is that stonefly molt activity is not far away here in February, and then blue-winged olive activity after that. So be sure that you've got some days planned on your calendar to get to the Arkansas Freestone section, specifically Canyon City through Salida in that what we call lower basin in late February and March. And then, of course, the famed activity of the Arkansas River in April and May. But we really look forward to seeing you all in the fly shop and on the water. I'm going to, in a second, show you a few patterns to kind of think about as we prepare for the stonefly molt activity, blue-winged olive activity, all of that's upcoming here quickly. So let's take a peek at that real quick and just kind of get that mindset going for what is rapidly approaching.
Okay, everybody. Like I said, just want to give you a really good snapshot as to the patterns that our guides will be focusing on as we roll into February, start to see our stonefly molt activity. Our far left column here focusing on our golden stoneflies, our immature stones. Give you a kind of a look at free swimming caddis larvae, which are very active now. Our midge larvae will continue to produce, and then our blue-winged olive activity really ramping up as we enter March. All of these patterns will be very strong producers for you well into the month of March. And we'll begin to see obviously more BWO hatch activity as we roll through March and water temperatures get into the zone that we need them for that. We'll see hatching midges and plenty of blue-wing, emerger activity as well throughout that time period. But we need to start preparing now specifically for our golden stonefly molt activity. We want light representations and we want dark representations. Their exoskeleton is hardening, softening throughout the day, so they do change in coloration. And then, like I said, we do have immature stoneflies out there. So I'm going to start at the top here. We've got Pennington's improved stone. That's a great lighter kind of true golden representation. Our biot stone is just a breadwinner. Wired stone, another kind of slender profile, golden stone representation in that true golden color. Then our darker stoneflies, Charlie Craven's 2-bit stone, which has 3 tungsten beads on it. Just one of my breadwinners for sure. John Barr's tongue teaser, great slider profile, dark stonefly nymph. And then a 2 tungsten bead prince nymph. Just really a classic pattern. 2 tungsten beads, gets down where you need it to, but will catch you a lot of fish in the early spring on the Arkansas River. Immature stoneflies, so basically just a baby golden stone. We've got a lot of immature stoneflies kicking around in this early spring and crawling, actively crawling. This is a yellow Sally imitation, an iron Sally, but fishes really well for an immature stonefly. Moving into free swimming caddis larvae, obviously the Arkansas is known to be a prolific caddis river. Not only for the Brachycentrus, the case caddis, which this is a case caddis representation here. This is Ferimsky's feeding caddis, but free swimming caddis, lots of free swimming caddis kicking around in the early spring, very active throughout the water column. This is the roller caddis larva, Shea Gunkles. This is Barr's uncased caddis. Love those both as options. Again, a case caddis, Pat Dorsey's bread crust is a great one, but this is probably the best representation, which is Ferimsky's feeding caddis. Again, continuing that larva segment of the life cycle, moving into the midge larva, 2-tone tungsten zebra midge is one of my favorites in red and black. Black Beauty, just a classic traditional pattern. 2-bit midge, Charlie Craven's 2-bit midge in red, and then brown. I love those as well. Blue-winged olives, as we begin to see those become very active on the substrate, maybe in late February in Canyon City, and as water temperatures raise upriver, we'll begin to see those in March in Bighorn Canyon. This is the shot glass Baetis olive. We've got a tungsten black RS2. Again, I love tungsten, just it keeps it in the strike zone. So you can fish on weighted patterns if you'd like, but a tungsten black RS2 far outfishes a non-weighted black RS2 near the substrate. Radiation Baetis, one of Shag Uncle's as well, in the peacock color with that little orange trigger, fishes really well in the spring for me. A matte Demon Mayfly, love this, just so realistic. It's a larger profile blue-winged olive, but we have some really big blue-winged olives in the spring. We're not talking our pseudo-Cleon Baetis of the fall. So remember, the Baetis are a bit larger, both in the nymph, emerger, and dry fly categories. Blue-wing dries. First, let's take a look at a blue-wing emerger real quick. Smoke jumper is probably my favorite. I love batwing emergers as well, but this is your smoke jumper. So have a blue-wing emerger ready, even in late February, but specifically in March and April. Your hackle stacker blue-winged olive, in our adult category, one of my true favorites is a slight profile adult wild turkey Baetis. This is Larry Kingree's pattern. Absolutely crushes it on this river, was designed for this river. The Awanadun, Phil Awani's pattern with that extended body, probably our #1 producer on this river now. Here's a midge, a drowned midge, something to fish on the surface or in the subsurface film, just something to keep in your wheelhouse. We'll have midges hatching, we have them now in the winter months, of course, but they'll continue to hatch into the early spring, and continue to hatch all year long. However, fish just will not really key on them as we get more and more bugs in the system. But in the early spring, our midge category, obviously in the midge larva, and our emerging or shucking midge or adult midge definitely need to have some stuff in that category. You'll see some big streamers here. Obviously, probably not streamer prime time in the early spring, but I'll tell you, I've continued to catch fish on streamers here this winter. There is no bad time to fish streamers on the Arkansas Freestone section. When there's too much ice flow, too much slush maybe, just because it's not a manageable technique at that point. But I'll tell you what, as we get into late February, March, and especially into April and May in the spring, we need to have streamers in our arsenal. We need to have a streamer rod ready. Switching back and forth doesn't work as well. You can certainly do it, but if you haven't invested in a streamer rod yet, it's something you need to do. If you're searching for bigger fish in any watershed you're fishing, this is what they're eating, okay? I love black in the early spring. That's my go-to color. I love olive in the summer and the fall, but I really like black in the early spring. It's been a go-to color for me. We've got a mini sex dungeon, Kelly Gallup's. We've got Peanut Envy as well, one of his patterns, Kelly Gallup's patterns as well. But go big. Don't be afraid to go big, even when the water temperatures are cooler and the fish are more lethargic. If they commit to a streamer, they're going to eat something big for you. Okay. So there's a great look at patterns to begin to prepare with for the springtime, and these will be great producers for you through the month of March, all in stock here at the Fly Shop or on our website at RoyalGorgeAnglers.com. All right, folks, so hopefully a look at those fly patterns is helpful as we continue to prepare for the early spring fishing on the Arkansas Freestone section. Again,
it's not far away. Just got to realize that we're weeks away from the start of the golden stonefly molt activity, which really kickstarts the spring season for us. Before you know it, we'll be in March and April, and things will be firing on all cylinders on the freestone section, specifically in Bighorn Canyon and in the Canyon City stretch, and then the upper basin stretch kind of turning up a few weeks later than the Bighorn stretch, which makes sense. Higher elevation, things happen a little bit slower in the upper basin, but as for the Canyon Cities section and the Bighorn Sheep Canyon stretch, here we do have some great opportunities in the winter in the kind of warmer stretches, and then as we begin to see that stonefly molt activity and the heavy blue-winged olive activity that kind of begins in February and really ramps up through March, well, that's a magical time period. And then we've got caddis, so a lot to look forward to here in 2023. As a reminder, all of our staff, guides, myself, will all be at the Denver Fly Fishing Show. That is beginning on February 17th, that weekend at the Gaylord Convention Center in Denver, Colorado. Really great venue, some great vendors there. Going to be a lot of fun. Last year was incredible at Gaylord Convention Center, and we look forward to this year. We'll be having some great seminars, both myself, several of our staff members there at the show. I will be presenting my updated Seasons of the Arkansas River seminar, which has been extremely popular for years and years. So come check that out. A lot of new information every year in that seminar, and I'll be in one of the big seminar rooms there every day, both Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Gaylord Convention Center. So do visit us. We'll have some great specials on guided trips, really the only specials of the year for our guide trips there at the Denver Fly Show. And we'll have some great closeout gear and logo items and things of that nature. So swing by. We're right as you enter the show at the front entrance, front and center. So look for us there. And if you haven't been to that show, I highly advise you to visit. So much great information on advancing your skill set, learning more about different venues in Colorado and abroad, and some great deals on gear. We'll also have a great event schedule starting in March, several events per month as we move through the spring and summer season into the fall. Technique workshops, things of that nature, in-store clinics and streamside clinics, a lot of different things that are already on our calendar, and you are able to book some spots already at royalgorgeanglers.com. Some of our first seminars will include on April 8th, Pat Dorsey. He will be presenting a streamside clinic, which is sign up only, and we'll also have Landon Mayer in May doing another streamside clinic and in-store event. So look for those events throughout the season. Going to be a lot of fun and a great way to inexpensively advance your skill set with some of those great pros, as well as with some of our in-store staff. Try to keep things rolling there almost every weekend, something to look forward to. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call anytime. 888-994-6743, extension 1 for the fly shop, extension 2 for the guide office. Do keep in mind that a lot of our dates for March, late March, April, and May in particular are beginning to fill up. Those are highly sought after dates. especially for walk wade fishing. And we're also beginning to really book our float fishing and wade fishing on other venues in the month of July and that summer prime time. So if you really want to get a guide trip on the books, we advise you to do that before dates fill completely. And like I said, maybe come to the Denver Fly Show. It's a great time to save some bucks on getting a guide trip on the books for the upcoming season. Email us anytime, info@royalgorgeanglers.com. And don't forget that you can shop our entire fly shop, as well as any of the patterns in our fly boxes here, as well as any of the patterns that I've showed you today at royalgorgeanglers.com. We've got a chat line there. Ask us any questions. Feel free to come by the fly shop. We're on winter hours right now, Monday through Saturday. However, we'll be rolling into spring hours here shortly, in late February, 7 days a week. So thanks so much for viewing. Just wanted to give you a great snapshot of what's to come and how to prepare for the early spring season on the Arkansas Freestone. As always, thank you for viewing our videos, and contact us with any questions or stop by the fly shop. Here's to year 33. Looking forward to it, and looking forward to seeing you all in the fly shop or on the water sometime soon.